Lucha Libre is super hot right now. Both major promotions are doing very big business. Lucha Blog said the CMLL show on Saturday night, which saw MJF successfully defend his CMLL light heavyweight championship against Zandokin Jr., was a sellout with 16,000 fans at Arena Mexico. They have broken records this year at Arena Mexico that have stood since 1991. That's how hot business has been. They were also sold out last night with another 5,500 fans at Arena Coliseo, which ran opposite TripleMania. And that show was sold out with 19,000 fans. Almost 20, actually. It's almost 20K. That's more than 40,000 fans in 2 days. And all of those shows took place in Mexico City, all within 7 miles of each other. So to say that that scene is thriving right now would be an understatement. CMLL in particular has been hot all year. Probably the hottest promotion in the world right now. And they might even outdraw WWE for the year in paid attendance, which is wild. But the Cubs fan is a great source for Lucha Libre news and reviews. Cubs fan and Lucha Blog both. And 1 year ago this month, Cubs fan wrote this about TripleMania. TripleMania Monterrey was terrible because it featured a lot of angles that fell flat, and AAA didn't bother to book any quality matches. TripleMania Tijuana was terrible because it focused on a bunch of feuds that were not over and didn't even seem to matter much to the people of Tijuana. TripleMania Mexico City was the worst of the bunch because it made it clear there is no hope. No reason to expect AAA to get better, and they prefer it that way. It's a dark, depressing promotion. Not exactly a ringing endorsement for Conan and AAA Creative. And it seems like every year, TripleMania ends up being the butt of a lot of jokes online because of some overbooked mess of a match, or botches, or technical difficulties plaguing the show. Like, never forget Vampiro on commentary. What was it, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? Vampiro on commentary for TripleMania responding to people on Twitter during the show who were complaining about his breathing heavily into the microphone and telling him to fuck off. It's not my fault. Or when he farted so loud that you could hear it through his headset. I mean, it was like a guttural noise. Like, it was like, holy shit, what the hell was that? Or when he was supposed to do a run-in. This is the classic moment right here. This is the video that went around for weeks and weeks. He was supposed to do a run-in. So he's sitting there at ringside. Actually, now he's standing. And he's supposed to do a run-in on the heels in the ring. And I remember this. Jeff Jarrett is in the ring, and Killer Cross is in the ring. All these people are in the ring. And they're all just waiting around. And Conan is in the ring. And they're all just waiting around for Vampiro to make the save. And Vampiro refuses to budge until they play his music. You've got to play his music. You got to play Back in Black by AC/DC. And he's literally just yelling, please, for the love of God, play my fucking music. And they finally play it, and then he throws his headset down to go do the run-in. Like, that was far more entertaining than any TripleMania probably was that year. This year was different. No Vampiro cursing or farting on commentary. That's one thing. But also, they have WWE production now. So they had no technical issues. There was also a lot of WWE influence on the card this year. I mean, 3 of the 4 men in the main event were WWE talents. It felt like a WWE show. Now, whether or not you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, I will defer to the hardcore Triple H fans. What did I say a few weeks ago? Triple H Mania. I think I accidentally called this show. He was there, by the way. He was there. I guess he's back from his Greek vacation. Him and Shawn Michaels were there. They didn't show him on camera, but Undertaker was there as well. What a wild photo that was. Someone tweeted that out. Triple H did, I think, maybe. Tweeted that out before the show. It was a picture of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and The Undertaker posing on the stage before TripleMania. Just a very weird timeline that we live in right now. But again, whether or not you think that that's a good thing or a bad thing, I will defer to the hardcore AAA fans on that. They took away the 6-sided ring and the blood and stuff like that. But it feels like they're trying not to stray too far from what AAA is. So far. That's the key. So far. I watched the entire thing. I had a lot of fun with it. It was definitely the best show of the entire week. They had commentary with Corey Graves, JBL, and Conan, who at least sounded more lively than he did at Worlds Collide. He was inducted into the AAA Hall of Fame by Rey Mysterio midway through the show and gave a speech. Mysterio made some headlines during that segment too when the fans started chanting for Alberto El Patron, who just wrapped up with AAA and is still very popular down there as a babyface. And Rey told the fans in Spanish, he told them something to the effect of, "I'll bring him in, wait on me." So that has a lot of people talking. You know, was he just trying to silence the fans, or does he know more than we do? But they had this Copa Bardal match, which was a lot of fun. It used to be just the Copa, or the Copa TripleMania. Bardal is one of their sponsors, so now it's called the Copa Bardal. You'll see more of this coming soon to WWE with the sponsored matches. Mark my words. The Mountain Dew Pitch Black match was only just the beginning, and that was before TKO took over. But the Copa Bardal, it works similar to a Royal Rumble. They have entrances at timed intervals, and the difference here being that they only had 14 entrants instead of 30. I don't know why 14 and not 15. I don't know if there's a significance to the number 14. And eliminations could take place via pinfall or submission, as well as over the top rope. So basically the old Lucha Underground Aztec Warfare match. The only difference is in Aztec Warfare, it was pinfall or submission only. There was no over the top rope eliminations. And they kept the old staples like the minis and the exoticos, including Pimpinella Escarlata. And I saw Pimpinella Escarlata come out and I said, oh my God, this is taking me back now to my days of watching Lucha Underground. I will never forget the first time I saw Pimpinella Escarlata. Matt Stryker is on commentary on Lucha Underground, and he starts, explaining the exoticos and running through the history of effeminate wrestlers, going all the way back to Gorgeous George, and I think he may have mentioned Adrian Street and The Miz, and that got me. That line got me. It's stuck with me ever since, the way he threw The Miz in there. Otis is back. Otis has been out hurt for a few months, and he made his return at TripleMania, of all places, and he was already super over in front of those fans. They even had him and Pimpinella do some spots together, and they teased Pimpy kissing him. Taurus was in the match. When Taurus walked out, I said, holy shit, the Beast Mortos has jumped ship. Because Mortos used to be Taurus, used to be Black Taurus. Could not use the name anymore in AEW. AAA would not allow it. They own the name. But man, it was a mindfuck watching this match. From the moment he came in, all I saw the entire time was the Beast Mortos. Right down to the mask. Like, how many first-time AAA fans who only watch WWE and AEW, well, they would have to watch AEW also. But like, how many of those people were watching this thinking the exact same thing? What is the Beast Mortos doing here? They had Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro in the match. The only real story of the match, the only thing that really matters, is Microman and the return of Omos. Now, Omos is coming off of what for him was a very successful short stint in Japan. He was working for Pro Wrestling Noah. He was one half of the GHC Tag Team Champions. He seemed to be doing well. He was an attraction there. And then WWE pulled him. It was so sudden, like he had to vacate the title. Like they had this urgent idea for him. Spoiler, they didn't. Because this was months ago. And since they brought him back to the States, they have done nothing with him. So this was the first time they've actually used him. I'm trying to think if he was even in the Andre Battle Royal this year. I don't know. He might have been. I don't even remember if he was in there. But if he wasn't, like legitimately the last time they may have done something with him on WWE television may have been WrestleMania 39 when he wrestled Brock Lesnar. I don't remember him doing a damn thing after that. So that's how long it's been. So now Omos is back. And Microman is a 3-foot-tall Mexican mini. Omos is the exact opposite of that. He's not Mexican, and there ain't nothing mini about him. Evidently, there's also no athletic commission in Mexico City, because when you have a 3-foot-tall man standing face to face, face to ankle with a 7-foot giant, you ain't got no commission. But that's one of the things that's so great about pro wrestling. But that shot of Omos as he's laying waste to everybody, and here comes Microman. And I don't know if he's shaking his leg or hitting him in the leg, and he turns around and he's not looking down. He's looking around like, what was that? And then the slow look as he tilts his head down and he peers down with Microman looking up at him is one of the greatest things in wrestling all year. As was Microman hitting the bottom rope, coming off the bottom rope, and Omos mowed him down with a mini boot. That's where the show peaked. It was all downhill after that. But then Omos goes on to win the Bardal Cup. Now, does that mean they're going to be doing more with him? Does that mean they're going to keep him in Mexico for a while and give him a run down there? I mean, I'm all for it. First Japan, now Mexico. He could do some stuff down there. Or for all we know, they may, put him back on the back burner, back in the, in the mothballs, and we may not see him again for 6 months. I don't know, but this was a lot of fun. They had El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. beating Macias to win the AAA Latin American Championship. My man, Mil Muertes. Almost 50 years old and still out there looking like a beast. Oh, it's not the same, though, with Dorian Roldan in his corner and not Katrina. It's just not the same. Now, Conan was on commentary. He was going off on Wagner and his father the entire match. His father was in the front row rooting on his son. Obviously, there's history there that I am not aware of, so I can't say that did anything for me, but the match itself was fine. We had Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Raquel Rodriguez with Roxanne Perez in their corner against Mr. Iguana, Nino Hamburguesa, and Lola Vice in a mixed tag team match. Lola is an NXT talent, but they have had her wrestling matches in AAA for about a month now, and they were talking about her on commentary like they sent her there on excursion or something. I mean, she's barely been down there for like a month. I don't think that's such a bad idea, by the way. I think they should do proper excursions for more developmental talents. Like they did with Omos in Pro Wrestling Noah. They did something similar with Josh Briggs and who was it? From the No Quarter Catch. Tavion Heights. Last summer, they sent them down for that tournament, the N1 or whatever that tournament is in Pro Wrestling Noah. I'd like to see them do more of that sort of thing. The story here was Balor pulling out a demon puppet at one point to counteract the iguana puppet, to counteract Yezka. And he pulls out a demon puppet that JBL somehow instantly knew the name of on commentary, as if we had seen the puppet before. Demonito. People wanted Demon Balor back? You got Demon Balor. It might not be in the form that you were hoping for, but there's your Demon Balor. And Demonito ate Yezka, which is Mr. Iguana's pet iguana. WWE already has Demonito puppets on sale on WWE Shop for a cool C-note. If you've got $100 laying around that you'd like to spend. I don't even think that includes shipping and handling, so it's probably like $115. You factor that in. For $100, that thing better eat roaches and spiders too. The match was entertaining. The finish was a little convoluted, but no surprise. I mean, the Judgment Day got put over the guy in the iguana costume and the guy who started eating hamburgers in the middle of the match. Los Garza, they defended their AAA tag team titles against Psycho Clown and Pagano in a street fight. Angel and Berto, man, they have really stepped up their game recently. And the question is, will Triple H take note when he gets them back on SmackDown? Probably not. But they were great here. And as far as the match itself, I mean, just think of your typical WWE street fight with kendo sticks and tables. This one had some barbed wire involved, though. I'll put barbed wire in quotation marks because I don't know how barbed it actually was. There was no blood here outside of some incidental blood on someone's back. I forget who. And it ends with Berto getting wrapped in the barbed wire while he is standing on the top rope and taking a Spanish fly from Psycho Clown. And Psycho Clown and Pagano are your new AAA Tag Team Champions. And then came the segment in the ring with Rey Mysterio inducting Konnan into the AAA Hall of Fame, and Konnan yelling at a fan in the crowd to sit down and go fuck himself, apparently. That was interesting. They also had someone doing the English translation of his speech while he was doing his speech. And the problem is, like, it was almost like in sync. So they were trampling over what Konnan was saying, which I didn't understand because it was in Spanish, but the person is trying to do the translation in English, but it's at the same time. It's like, dude, just wait until the guy takes a breath or something. My God. So I mean, or put up closed captions or something. That was kind of a disaster. They had Lady Flammer retaining the AAA Reina de Reinas championship over Fabi Apache and Natty Neidhart. Natalya was doing her Bloodsport gimmick. I would say that I would like to see her doing this on WWE television, but then I kind of fear that it won't be a special anymore because she'll just continue to lose every single match that she's in, on those rare occasions when she wrestles, and it's not going to mean anything anymore. I feel like her role on WWE television is kind of solidified at this point. They use her when they have a need for her to be in a match and probably take the losing fall and put somebody else over, and that's basically going to be their only use for her going forward. So you know what? She's got a special thing going right now with this whole Bloodsport Natty gimmick. I wouldn't destroy it by bringing it to WWE television right now, assuming they have no real plans to use her. I think that's probably the worst thing they could do. It won't feel special anymore. Let her bounce around to these different promotions. Let her do some indies here and there and use that gimmick. And I think that is what works for her. She was incorporating more submission holds, and she did a double sharpshooter at one point at the same time, so that was kind of cool. She wasn't special enough, though, to win the title. Flammer retains the championship by pinning Natty, doing so off of a fast count by the heel referee. Another AAA special, the heel ref. Match was solid, nothing special. Natty and Fabi Apache, they got into it after the match, so it looks like we'll be getting a match between them soon. And the main event had El Hijo del Vikingo defending his AAA Mega Championship in a fatal four-way against Dominic Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and El Grande Americano. Americano came out with a mariachi band, sang his way to the ring, which the crowd loved. They ate this shit up. Followed by Dragon Lee. He was wearing dragon wings. And there was a Chinese dragon. They had drummers. Like, it was a cool entrance. Dominic came out. Dominic had a shirt wrapped around his waist, and he wrestled with it. It was wrapped around his waist, and it had Liv Morgan's face on it over Jesus Christ. And they followed Vikingo from the back for his entrance. He embraced his father back there before coming out to the ring. It didn't matter. He was roundly booed. From the moment they showed him on screen, to the moment he hugged his dad, to the moment he got to the ring, and all throughout the match, Vikingo was booed. He continues to get the John Cena late 2000s treatment from the fans. And I'm pretty sure it started when WWE forced AAA to put the mega title back on Vikingo and take it off of Alberto. I'm pretty sure that's where all the booing started. Alberto was super over as a babyface there. And I think he had even beaten Vikingo recently, but then AAA moved in, or WWE moved in on AAA, I should say, and suddenly they were like, okay, we want the title on Vikingo. Vikingo was going to be kind of the face of AAA right now. So you got to get that belt back on him, even though Alberto had just beaten him and it looked like he was moving on to another challenger. And so they just rushed it back onto Vikingo, and the fans resent him for it, right? It's not Vikingo's fault, but the fans resent him for it. It's the classic case of WWE shoving something down people's throats that they did not ask for. So they take it out on the talent, even though it isn't their fault. They haven't done anything to warrant the boos, but he's the scapegoat. But this was all action from start to finish. Vikingo got put through the English announce table. The Judgment Day came out to distract Dragon Lee and held him in place for a 619. Americano, though, broke up the pin that followed. The LWO ran out to even up the odds. We had two more Grande Americanos run out to assist Kaiser Americano, and he almost won the title off a blockbuster to Dragon Lee. Then he tried to load the mask. slipped that metal plate under the mask. Lee, though, stopped him from doing so and then dove out onto all of the interfering parties outside. And he then hit Operation Dragon on Americano. Vikingo broke up the pin and then nearly got one of his own off of a 630 senton. Dom then put, or maybe it was a 450, but Dom then put on his own Rey Mysterio Sr. mask. He loaded it up. He dumped Vikingo out of the ring. He headbutted Americano. He headbutted Dragon Lee. He almost got the pin on Dragon Lee after a frog splash until another masked man yanked him off. And, well, let me rephrase that. What are they doing down there in AAA? Another masked man came into this match and started yanking off Dominic Mysterio. No, there was another masked man who reached in and pulled him. He pulled him off, and that masked man revealed himself. Oh my God, I'm so terrible. Revealed himself to be AJ Styles, who got a huge pop when he revealed himself, and he gave Dom a Styles clash, which allowed Vikingo to hit a 630 senton to get the pin and to retain the championship. They had El Grande Americano in this match, but they allowed Vikingo to pin the Intercontinental Champion. I did not see that one coming. This was an excellent, chaotic main event. First, he had AJ Styles showing up at Slammiversary, and now TripleMania. Plus, he was on the WrestleMania card this year. So that's a nice hat trick for AJ Styles. I was going to say, I'm not sure anybody else has done that in the same year, but Joe Hendry did it this year. You don't have to go back very far. Joe Hendry was at WrestleMania, Joe Hendry was at Slammiversary, and Joe Hendry was on the other TripleMania show that they did back in June. But this was a fun time. I enjoyed this show. You can already see a lot of WWE elements seeping into the product, mainly on the production end, from the opening shots of people walking into the building to the constant cuts to, celebrities and influencers in the crowd. AAA was something, by all accounts, AAA was something of a shit show as it was before WWE came in and took over. So, the better production value helps elevate the product. Booking-wise, we'll see how things pan out in the months to come. I know Jeremy Borash is helping out on that end. Conan is still involved in the booking process. We'll see how that pans out in the months to come and how and if they address the situation with Alberto. Because, look, there's a lot of baggage there when it comes to him. And he's been involved in a lot of incidents, even in terms of just losing his temper and, going off on fans or fighting people. There's all kinds of baggage that he brings with him. And I don't see him coming back to the WWE roster. But would WWE bring him back if this fan support continues to be there for him and people are chanting his name and they want him back? Would they bring him back to AAA? Sure. I mean, Rey Mysterio looked like he flat out said that they might do that. So it's entirely possible they end up bringing him back, to be part of the AAA product. But WWE is airing these shows on their YouTube channel. Do you envision a scenario where they bring back Alberto El Patron and he's in a key match on a future AAA show that they're promoting on their YouTube channel? It's hard for me to see them doing that. But you can't deny that he is super popular there. And people are taking it out on Vikingo because he's no longer there. Now, they also announced the next Worlds Collide show for Friday night, September 12th in Las Vegas, with a 10 p.m. Eastern start time, which means it starts as soon as SmackDown ends. So if you want to watch both shows live, that's 5 straight hours of wrestling. Good luck with that.